Free Jose Daniel Ferrer Garcia now, and all the other rest of the Cuban political prisoners, including those of Venezuela, Nicaragua, North Korea, and China. Good morning, all fellow Americans here once again to inform on what's happening in the world. Let's see if it doesn't give me too much problem here, because it's not easy. I'm gonna have to get me a cam recorder to videotape it, and then go on, then unload it on my computer, because it's not working like I wish it would. And sometimes the signal just goes off on me. Today's a beautiful day, but never know. It'll just probably just go off on me in the middle, even though it's nice, even though the day is nice. So this is unreliable. It's the best thing to do is if you're gonna make videos, get a cam recorder, record it. I'm talking about a video cam recorder, not one that just takes photos, and record whatever you want to put on your laptop, and then unload it on your different pages, because it's really not. It doesn't work that easy. It's not that easy. I spend a little bit more money and without wanting to do it, because I really don't want to spend more money, but according to right, doing something that'll come out right, gotta spend a little bit more money. Let's see what happens, because I really don't want to spend the money. There's so many things, money flies like water. Well, here we go again. Let me put down an advertisement here for a friend of mine. Let's see if I can get it pretty quickly. I already got it recorded here. Here it is. It's the electrical battery operated generator. It comes with a solar plaque, and it's an alternative to gasoline operated generators. But I want to tell you one thing. If you decide to buy one and you have a gasoline operated generator, save the gasoline type. You never know if one is going to not operate properly, or you have the second alternative. I've heard this operating, and just you barely can hear it. It's almost completely silent, and you don't have to work with contaminants. You don't have to deal with oil. You don't have to deal with that if you're how you call it? Let me see how they call it. Pumping it before turning it on. It'll probably inundate the gasoline system, and then it won't turn on. So that's another problem with gasoline operated equipment. And plus, you can have a leakage, oil leakage or gasoline leakage. And these operated battery type with solar panel I think it's a better alternative. I think I'm not sure, but remember, always ask for a guarantee. Always ask questions before buying it, and make sure it's in writing. Like if it works on 220, and if you're not going to have any problems by turning on your stove, which works on 220 if it's electric, or the pump turns on that pumps the water from the cistern to your house. That's another charge that takes up a lot of juice, electric juice, and or power, and plus your air conditioning. The best thing to do is buy an inverter, but it still requests a lot of. It takes up a lot of energy. So you got to make sure if it's true what they say that it works on 220, besides 110, which obviously is gonna work on, but I'm speaking about the most expensive type, which he told me it works on 220. But if he says it does, make sure it's in writing and the guarantee, what guarantee there is. And if you have any doubt, don't buy it. That's it. Oh, here I go again. If the signal goes off on me here while I'm showing the news, go to my blog. Everything that I'm going to talk about here is going to be on my blog. Eduardo Rodriguez, I pledge allegiance to the flag. Everything is already posted on my blog. So if you want to go to the blog, you can go to anywhere else, any other page. But in my page, I put on a variety of videos, all included in one. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. But there's other people a lot better than I am. You got Dan Bongino, you got Alex. You know, people here in the United States have become so stupid, so incredibly naive and dumb and idiots. You know, or they're not reading the Bible right. You know, there's something wrong, or they're screwed up in the head. That's why I can't see myself going to a church anymore. Because you got people, and especially those are the one that impose their will on the rest of the congregation. And you know, if they're wrong, they're wrong. You know, and I'm not the kind of guy to swallow it. You know, if I go to a church and they start, you know, instead of talking about God, they start talking about politics. And then, you know, besides politics, supporting an evil entity like Bernie Sanders, which we know who supports, who's a hardcore communist, an ideology which has destroyed many countries and killed millions of people, millions. So, you know, I just can't accept it. You know, I'm sorry. They're not going to live on me either. I'm not going to pay my 10% to an organization that's more corrupt than those on the other side. Let me go here because I got an article. That's why I'm talking about this. Episcopal Church partnering with Islamic Relief gender-based. Episcopal Relief and Development is an age, it's working hand. Okay, I couldn't, for some reason, it just doesn't show up the whole thing here. So I'm gonna let you go to my blog, but I'm gonna show you a photo here. You know, they're uniting with people who support jihad, Sharia, a criminal organization which was created at 600 years after the death of Christ, using the Torah to create their hellish belief. Here it is, they're together with Muslims. You know, you figure it out because I really can't say that well because it just doesn't show like, maybe, let me see. You see women wearing hijab. So that means they're Muslims. So that means the church is supporting and working together with a group, with an organization that's wishes death upon you, wishes you destroyed, wishes the Christian church destroyed forever, including the Bible, which they based their hellish Quran on. These people are evil. You know, where's ICE when you need them? You know, they should be deported. They should be removed and deported back to their country. They shouldn't be here, period. Whether you like it or not. I don't care what they call me. You want to call me Islamophobic? Yes, I am. You know, yes, I am, because I can't support seeing what happened on 9/11 when I was on a cruise with my wife. Thousands of people died because of this hellish belief. Screaming out like, "Oh, Akbar." and committing all kinds of massacre and killing, burning, and doing all kinds of atrocities. And you don't expect me to be Islamophobic? You've got to be out of your mind, your freaking mind. Let's go to the next news. It's about Bernie Sanders, this creep. This guy's a real creep. And then he does it with a smile. He gathers and embraces a Muslim lady who wishes the annihilation of Israel and the United States and the Constitution. Well, he's a communist. And as all communists, they support everything that's evil. You go to Venezuela, and they have terrorists from Hamas in Venezuela, the communist regime, trying to help them put law and order, like committing terrorism. The same thing goes with Cuba, Nicaragua. Let me show you this guy. This guy is terrible. You know, he's evil, and he doesn't hide it. He doesn't hide it, and he wants you to swallow it. You know, this guy's evil as hell, and there's people that believe him. They believe the crap that comes out of his mouth. And there's people who support him, believing he's going to give everything free. You know, he'll give everything free. Yeah, sure. If there's anything, like in Cuba, you go get a bar of soap, and right now there's a news, but this one I'm going to do in the video in Spanish, where people got to go to the store and there won't be soap available until I think to the month of May. And if they're going to get a bar of soap, just a bar of soap we're talking about. We're not talking about bread, a loaf of bread, or a chicken for a whole family for 1 month. Probably won't last a day. Imagine 1 month. They probably have to do it like in the soup. So that way people can at least have some kind of nutrition. But you know what it is? Waiting in line for 4, 5, 6, even maybe a whole day, like in some cases, just to get a bar of soap. 1 bar of soap for 1 month? Hey, you like that? Liberals, do you really like that? Well, you can't afford to take a shower until soap shows up. And maybe if you're in line waiting for that bar of soap, when you get to the end of the line, it's finished. There's no more soap available. You have to wait next month. After sweating under the sun, waiting in line for 5 or 6 hours, or maybe a whole day, and when you get to the end, no, that we're finished. It's gone. Everybody can go home because that's it. There's no more. You're gonna have to wait next month, or maybe in 2 months for a bar of soap. So then you have to smell like hell for the rest of 2 months without taking a shower with soap. Just use a towel with water, if there's water. That's another case. Maybe you have to take a shower with dirty water, with muddy water, because the system there is broken down. That's what liberals want. You know, what the hell you can't change stupidity. Let's go to the next one. From the Religion of Peace, like always, the last one. There's a video here. EU funded Turkish armored vehicle rips down Greek border fence. Let's put the video. This is Erdogan is supporting this. I don't know if I pronounced it right. Erdogan or well, in Spanish, Erdogan. In English would be Erdogan, I think. Okay, this is what he supports. And the vehicle is coming out of his regime. It was sure you can hardly see what was happening there. But I don't know what's happening with the Greek border. What happened? Greeks don't have armament where they can shoot back. Shoot them. Take out your armaments and blow them up. It's your border. You got to protect it. This is an invasion. You're at war. They're trying to invade. They're forcing their belief on you by invading you, whether you like it or not. Shoot. Damn it. This is another one about Joe Biden going off his rockers with these auto workers. I'm not going to put that down because that's already in old news. This is about Hunter Biden, another piece of work, who doesn't want to pay alimony, should be in prison. If it was me, I would be in prison. There's a law here in Puerto Rico. I'm talking about Puerto Rico. If you don't pay alimony, they put you in prison until the money shows up. I think it's the same way in the United States. I think the same laws. I think it applies in the United States. And this guy, thanks to his father and his connections, he won't see a 1 day in prison. Tom Hanks and his wife, Rita Wilson, announced they have tested positive for coronavirus. This is old news already because it's gone on like wildfire. Tom Hanks, may be a good actor, but he looks like he's not so bright. Because if he's following the news, because I know he has to know that coronavirus has already been spreading around since about maybe a month already, that news, and he doesn't know it. It's his ass, I hope he gets well. I don't wish him ill, but if he's that done, well, stay over there. Now they're going to have to quarantine him and his wife. Well, it's here in the United States already anyway. This should have been done a long time ago. Once this was noticed as something dangerous, in the Old Testament, they would do that. They would quarantine a person right off the bat. If they saw a sign of leprosy or any kind of sickness, they would quarantine the person until they would go to him and check out, and they found him that he was cured. I don't know how they're cured, but there's ways of curing certain types of illness through health, sanitary health care, and maybe some kind of medicinal plants that they knew at that time to heal them. There was ways to do it, but if there weren't ways to do it, they would just permanently quarantine the person until they saw he was well. If he wasn't well, he wouldn't be in the general population because he was going to spread his disease, and that's already done in the United States. The harm is already done, and it's going to keep on spreading until there's a cure. See what happens. There's another one about Nancy Pelosi. I've read something that they're demanding that she be removed. I hope she's removed. I hope they lose the election and they wipe out the whole Senate of this plague. Everything that I'm reading here is posted already on my blog. Over 600 alleged members of Mexican cartel arrested thanks to Trump executive order. Thank you, Trump. You see, he's working for us. It's not like the Democrats. They work for themselves, for their pocket. He works for us. These people shouldn't be nowhere near us. This hellish group of gangsters, they should be nowhere in the United States. But if you let the communists, which is what they used to call the Democrat Party, they'll accept it. Bernie Sanders, one of them, he says we should have open borders. This evil entity from hell. Thank God he didn't win the primaries. From what I understand, I don't know if I'm mistaken. I may be mistaken. I might be mistaken the way I say things. I think it's the primary to, of course, to his party. According to what I understand and what I've read and what I've heard, he lost, and Joe Biden is the one who won the candidacy for president for the Democrat Party. Let's go to the next one. I knew I had some videos, but I don't know what happened with the videos here. Supreme Court rules Trump can enforce remain in Mexico policy for migrants seeking asylum. Great, that's great. Thank you. I thank the Supreme Court for that decision. Well, they know how to be done. Maybe it's because of the coronavirus, but you have some people in the Supreme Court who are just as evil as the Democrats. Well, as the rest of the Democrats. Well, maybe they got some sense that say, wait a minute, we've got to stop this coronavirus from spreading. So let's give him our support. It's to their convenience. And then you speak to Pelosi or Bernie Sanders or some other Democrats. You know, they're all negative. Oh, that can't be like Bernie Sanders. No, we got to let them in. You know, that's why he's losing. That's why most probably, you know, he's gone. But Biden is no angel either. He's another one. Let me see if I got some. I just hope I got well, according to what happened here, I'll finish for today. But I know I must have had. Okay, I know where to find them. I got videos here, but supposedly I didn't post it on time. I want to put down Mark Dice. Mark Dice is just great. He's great. Mark Dice, you're one of the best. The thing about Mark Dice is humorous and he's short. He goes to the point, and not only that, he makes you laugh because the guy is just tremendously great. Okay. Let me put down Mark Dice first because he's just one of my favorites. Okay, this is it.
Well, there was another group of primaries on Tuesday dubbed Super Tuesday 2, where Joe Biden extended his lead over Bernie Sanders, causing many to believe that Bernie's campaign's days are numbered. In fact, it may be down to hours.
Democrats, please don't make me vote for Joe Biden. Please don't make me vote for Joe Biden. Please don't make me vote for Joe Biden. I don't want to vote for Joe Biden.
What's so striking tonight is when a campaign like the Sanders campaign suffers the kind of losses that they're suffering tonight. This is when you normally have the rouse the troops speech, it's not over. Now, presumably that's what was scheduled and got canceled. but they weren't able to put together any alternative version of it in Vermont tonight.
Old Joe.
Andrew Yang, I see you've been writing on your paper a lot. I heard from you a little bit. You haven't. Where do you see the race right now? Where do you see this going for Joe Biden?
I believe that Joe Biden will be the Democratic nominee, and I've always said I'm going to support whoever the nominee is. So I hereby am endorsing Joe Biden to be not just the nominee for the Democratic Party, but the next president of the United States. And I say this, having supported Bernie Sanders in 2016, Bernie was an inspiration for me, inspired my run. But the math says Joe is our prohibitive nominee. We need to bring the party together. We need to start working on defeating Donald Trump in the fall.
Michael Moore was practically in tears on MSNBC, and Chunk Yogurt is bracing his audience for the inevitable.
I want to read more of your comments. I'm not getting to enough of those because there's so much to talk about. But who does pick up the torch in 2024? If Sanders really has lost, that could happen. Certainly, that's the track we're on. We're honest about it. You got to be, true with the reality. Within a week, it could definitely be over.
Bernie may have already dropped out by the time you're watching this video, or he may hold on until next week's primary, March 17th, when he is almost assured to lose every state. In 2016, Bernie lost every single state in next week's primary: Florida, Illinois, Ohio, and Arizona. And he's already lost a bunch of critical states this year that he won in 2016, and his voter base has shrunk compared to the last election. Maybe all those people buying toilet paper in bulk that we've been seeing were just worried that Bernie Sanders may become the next president, turn the United States into Venezuela, where a roll of toilet paper is pretty hard to come by. This look you see on Richard Maddow's face is her realizing that Joe Biden is now going to have to face President Trump in a debate. I certainly can't wait, and I'll have my Liberal Tears mug here ready for the show. Order yours from my online store at markdice.com or click the link in the description below.
Mark Dice is good. I mean, this guy's great. Not only that, he's like a Saturday Night Live in one. He's just a commentative comedian. Great, he's great. Mike Dice, one of the best. And not only that, he's like a real true patriot, conservative commentator, not like CNN or MSNBC or let's say like Saturday Night Live, which is just completely unpatriotic and full of communistic liberals. This guy's great. We need more of them like him, but there are like Don Miller. There's another one who's great, and Alex Jones. Oh, Alex Jones #1. But the thing about Mark Dice is just his humor, sense of humor. The way he does the news is just great. Superb. Let me go to another one here. Oh, wait a minute. I got some more here. You know, it's funny the way the title goes, Bye-Bye Bernie. I hope it's true. I hope Bye-Bye Bernie for good. Finally, federal, okay. Wow, this is another good one.
By the law, to the facts, as the Chief Justice put it, without fear
And I hope this is true.
or favor from whatever quarter. I explained how some in the Democratic Party appear more interested in attacking the institutions of our government than in working within them. How Democrats increasingly respond to political disappointments with extreme claims that our system of government itself must be broken. The failure can't be their own. It can't be that the left needs better arguments or ideas. No, No, the fault must lie with the Constitution itself.
Oh, God.
Democrats have tried to cloak
It's
their
just
anger
no piece of cake here.
at President Trump in rhetoric about protecting norms and institutions, but in reality, it is their own side of the aisle where anti-institutionalism is rampant. We could talk about attacks on the office of the presidency, on the Electoral College, on the First Amendment, on the Senate itself. But most striking of all have been the shameless efforts to bully our nation's independent judiciary. And yesterday, those efforts took a dangerous and disturbing turn. By now, many already know what the Democratic leader shouted outside the Supreme Court yesterday morning. I'm sorry to have to read it into the record. First, he prompted a crowd of left-wing activists to boo two of the associate justices, as though Supreme Court justices were professional athletes, and Senator Schumer were jeering from the stands. And then the senior senator from New York said this: I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you've released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. End quote. Madam President, I'm not sure where to start. There is nothing to call this except a threat. And there's absolutely no question to whom it was directed. Contrary to what the Democratic leader has since tried to claim, he very, very clearly was not addressing Republican lawmakers or anyone else. He literally directed the statement to the justices by name. And he said, quote, if you go forward with these awful decisions, which could only apply to the court itself, the minority leader of the United States Senate threatened two associate justices of the U.S. Supreme Court, period. There's no other way to interpret that. Even worse, the threat was not clearly political or institutional. As I'll discuss in a moment, these kinds of threats are sadly nothing new from Senate Democrats. This was much broader, much broader. The Democratic leader traveled to the workplace of the two judges, and in front of a crowd of activists, he told those judges, you will pay the price, right in front of the Supreme Court building. And you won't know what hit you, he said, right in front of the Supreme Court building. If any American had these words shouted at them from a sidewalk outside their office, they would hear those threats as personal. And most likely they would hear them as threatening or inciting violence. That's how any American would interpret those words if they were directed at us. And that's certainly how the press and leading Democrats would have characterized them if President Trump or any senior Republican had said anything remotely similar. We've seen much more hay made out of much less. Perhaps our colleagues thinks this is absurd. Perhaps he would like the most generous possible interpretation. That he got carried away. It didn't mean what he said. But if he cannot even admit to saying what he said, we certainly cannot know what he meant. At the very best, his comments were astonishingly reckless and completely irresponsible. And clearly, as the Chief Justice stated in a rare and extraordinary rebuke, they were, quote, dangerous, end quote. Because no matter the intention, Words carrying the apparent threat of violence can have horrific unintended consequences. In the most recent year on record, Madam President, the United States Marshal Service tracked thousands of threats and inappropriate communications against the judiciary. Thousands of threats against the judiciary. Less than 3 years ago, of course, an unhinged and unstable left-wing activist attempted a mass murder of congressional Republicans at a baseball field right across the river. A Senate leader appearing to threaten or incite violence on the steps of the Supreme Court could literally be a matter of deadly seriousness. So, I fully anticipate our colleague would quickly withdraw his comments and apologize. That's what even reliably liberal legal experts like Lawrence Tribe and Neil Katyal have publicly urged. Instead, our colleague doubled down. Doubled down. He tried to gaslight the entire country and stated that he was actually threatening fellow senators, as though that would be much better. But that's a fiction. And then a few hours later, the Democratic leader tripled down. Instead of taking Chief Justice Roberts' sober and appropriate statement to heart, he lashed out yet again and tried to imply the Chief Justice was biased for doing his job and defending the court. Let me say that again. He tripled down and he lashed out yet again and tried to imply the Chief Justice was biased for doing his job and defending the court. Our colleague therefore succeeded in attacking 33% of the Supreme Court in a space of a few hours. Throughout the impeachment and the Senate trial for months, Washington Democrats preached sermons about the separation of powers and respect among equal branches. So much for all of that. And sadly, this attack was not some isolated incident. The left-wing campaign against the federal judiciary did not begin yesterday. Not yesterday. My colleagues will recall that during the impeachment trial, the senior senator from Massachusetts and outside pressure groups tried to attack the Chief Justice sitting right in that chair for staying neutral instead of delivering the outcomes that they wanted. These same groups came to Senator Schumer's defense yesterday with gratuitous attacks against the Chief Justice for condemning the threats against his colleagues. And last summer, a number of Senate Democrats sent an extraordinary brief to the Supreme Court. It threatened to inflict institutional change on the court if it did not rule the way the Democrats wanted. In other words, give us the ruling we want, or we'll change the numbers to the court. Here's what they wrote. The Supreme Court is not well. Really? We're going to expand the numbers and change the outcome. A political threat, plain as day. As to read the document, you have expected it to end by saying, that's some nice judicial independence you got over there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. It couldn't have been more clear. Independence from political passions is the cornerstone of our judiciary in our country. Judicial independence is what enables us to do justice, even when it is unpopular, to protect constitutional rights, even when powerful interests want them infringed. Judicial independence, Madam President, is what makes the United States of America a republic of laws rather than of men. It's been almost a century since the last time Democrats threatened to pack the Supreme Court because they wanted different rulings. History still judges that disgraceful episode to this day. So I would suggest that my Democratic colleagues spend less time trying to threaten impartial judges and more time coming up with ideas that are actually constitutional. Fortunately, this extraordinary display contains one ironic silver lining. These clumsy efforts to erode a pillar of American governance have just reminded everyone why that pillar is so crucial. These efforts to attack judicial independence remind us that independence is essential. Every time Democrats try to threaten sitting judges, we are reminded exactly why the framers gave them life, tenure, and salary protection. Precisely why they did it. Every time Democrats toy with packing new seats onto the court, we're reminded exactly why, as Justice Ginsburg recently said, 9 seems to be a good number. Justice Ginsburg said 9 seems to be a good number. The distinguished men and women of the Supreme Court do not and must not serve at the pleasure of angry partisans. Must not serve at the pleasure of angry partisans. They do not need to pay any mind to unhinged threats, as shameful as they may be. In fact, as the Chief Justice reminded us yesterday, they are duty-bound to pay such things no attention at all. Their job description is simple.
Okay, they're all great. This other ones, I just don't remember. There's a couple of more. Those are the ones that come up in my mind. Okay, let's see the next video. This is another video. I hope I'm not boring everybody with videos, but they're the best. But I'm going to speak. I might spoil it myself. So I'd rather have somebody speak more or less what's happening. Okay.
The cringy name that Joe Biden just called Trump at church is so bad that it's funny. Welcome back to the next news. My name is Elijah, and I'm filling in for Gary. Please check that you are subscribed by clicking below, turning on the bell, and as always, sharing these reports. Let's see what's on the chopping block. Christina Lila from the Gateway Pundit reports that sleepy Joe Biden traveled to Jackson, Mississippi on Sunday and visited New Hope Baptist Church. Biden spoke at the Black Church Sunday and ripped President Trump as a bull weevil. Bull weevils, which can be referred to in a political way, were also beetles that destroyed the cotton field in the South in the 20th century. Awkward. And the gaffe machine Biden knew it was a bizarre thing to say. I'm going to get clobbered for saying this, Biden said, warning everyone, but we kind of got a bull weevil. We got to get rid of it. Take a look.
So I guess what I want to say to you is that we are now in a situation where I'm going to get clobbered for saying this.
Reported that 99% of Americans are unprepared for a catastrophic event. I have a solution. Users have reported that the backup solar bank is an all-in-one lifesaver, and they wouldn't go anywhere without it. It's lightweight, but it's durable, it's compact, but great handling for all emergencies. The device features phone charging capabilities with dual USB port, and it can charge 2 devices at once. So never waste money on batteries ever again with this solar bank. Now, limited supply lasts. This is the very last chance to get yours at a discount before they sell out. Take advantage now and give you and your family the gift of power anywhere in the world. Visit backupsolarbank.com and remember to use promo code NNN15 to get 15% off. See you at the next report for the Next News Network. I'm Gary Franchi.
Okay.
Thank you for watching that.
And that advertisement
Subscribe
go
to the
because
channel by
so
clicking
people
the
can know
next
what's
news network
available,
logo right here.
just in case
You can also
you
watch our latest news
you
reports
have
by clicking here.
a shortage.
Or you can get the latest breaking news by clicking here, or the most viral news of the channel, the news that Hillary and Obama hate, right here.
Just in case you have an electrical shortage, well, I let that one go by. Okay, that's enough with videos. Oh, thank God the signal didn't go off on me today, miracle. Well, we have a beautiful day today. The sun is out and it's not cloudy. But I'm going to try to do something to avoid, so I can be on air constantly. But let's see what happens, because I just don't want to spend the money. I don't want to spend more money than what I've had already. This computer that I bought is another example of a lot of money, which is a 16-inch Apple laptop. And everybody who knows what I'm talking about knows it's expensive. So there, I'm already paying off what I owe from that. Something else that I bought for my wife. It was supposed to be for St. Valentine's Day, but it still hasn't arrived. So this is it for today. I'll see you guys next time. And God bless you all. God bless my country. Donald Trump, I always pray for you. I always pray for your family. You're doing a great job. Hope you win again. Keep it up. There's more to be done. We have to get rid of terrorism in the United States and those who are threatening us. I'm talking about like the Islamic community, which liberals don't want to accept it. And the Islamic community are fighting so that we can't express our feelings about this hellish, how would I call it, a criminal organization, which is true. They don't want to hear, but it's true. They shouldn't be here, period. They shouldn't be allowed here. The United States at one time had a law where they wouldn't just let them in, period. And we let them in, and we're going to the point where there's no return. I hope we can reverse the situation by just sending them back, period. No, you got to leave. Anchor baby or not, you got to leave, period. And liberals who support them, hey, well, just exile them over there too. Hey, you go over there and live with them. We'll pay your way. Bye-bye. And not permit that hellish precept here. It's going to destroy the United States and our Constitution and our way of life, period. Whether people want to hear it or not, that's the truth. Those who call it a religion of peace are just naive and practically extremely dumb. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They look like they ignored 9/11 or just they don't want to believe it. Some of them, their mind is twisted to such a point where they got a loose nut in their head. Well, and God bless Israel too. Israel, I always the state of Israel. I always pray for you. I always pray for Netanyahu, and God bless you. And like I say, God bless my country, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.